Atlanta One Operator 7944, what is the address of your emergency?
1280 West Peachtree St.
Or the address
1280 West Condominium.
at this location, at the address of 1280 West Peachtree Street Northwest. What unit are we responding to?
Yeah, somebody is shooting on the plaza level.
How many shots do you hear being fired?
4 or 5 so far.
All right, sir, do you see anyone or no, sir?
There's a lady with a black striped top, black lady.
And what is she doing? What?
She's shooting. She's in the management office right now. At least she was.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. In today's episode, we're continuing the updates around the Atlanta shooter, and we're sharing with you some of the 911 calls and all the updates that we found out over the last 24 hours. I'm gonna do my best not to repeat so much from the first story, and you can check out the previous story, which is the video right before this one. Thank you for joining me today. If that's the type of content you like to follow, make sure you hit on that subscribe button, hit on that like, and click on that notification bell. Thank you for joining me. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Raissa Kengne, she's accused of shooting 3 people and sending offices into lockdown in Midtown Atlanta on Monday, August 22nd, 2022. She has been denied bail after appearing in court. Raissa Kengne, police say she shot 3 people with a firearm and killing 2 of them, and she was ordered to remain in detention without any bail. The first attack, this took place at her luxury condo complex, with the second bout of gunfire erupting minutes later at an office building 4 blocks away. Michael Shiners, 60 years old, building manager in her luxury condo complex, he died at the scene, while Wesley Freeman, 41 years old, who seems to have been a former colleague of Miss Kengne, he died later in a hospital. Police are still looking for the motive of this shooting, but Miss Kengne appears to have made a series of LinkedIn posts and filed a lawsuit accusing Mr. Freeman and her building managers of conspiring against her. Right out of the gate, officers said that it looks like these victims were targeted. The Community Associations Institute, which is an international trade association that provides education and resources to the volunteer homeowners who govern community associations, they released a statement regarding the death of one of their members, Michael Shiners, who was killed during this shooting. Shiners, who was a member of the Community Associations Institute and a property manager at 1280 West in Atlanta, he was remembered by the organization as being a dedicated member of the CAI community. In their statement, they said, "As we learn more information about the deadly shooting on August 22nd at a condominium community on West Peachtree Street in Atlanta, Community Associations Institute, the CAI Georgia chapter, and the entire CAI family express our deepest condolences to the victims' families, friends, colleagues, and neighbors. We are saddened and shocked as we mourn the loss of our friend, colleague, and dedicated member of the CAI Georgia chapter, Michael Patrick Shiners, a community association manager with Beacon Management Services in Atlanta. He was fatally wounded during the horrifying tragedy at the 1280 West condominium." And this is what, anytime anyone loses their life, I don't know that there's ever a good reason except maybe self-defense, where it was your life or their life. That I can completely understand. But losing your cool to the point where you want to kill other people, I don't know that I understand that. I don't understand that. And I feel that's why I want to do this channel. Number one, to keep you aware of what goes on out there, because these poor victims are taken way too soon, and I always want to do my best to honor the victim. I don't know what's true and not true from her lawsuit and her allegations against both the complex and the Beacon Management Company and her former employer. I don't know all that, but my heart does go out even to her because she lost it and she wanted someone to listen to her. And so another life lost. It wasn't only the 2 lives that were lost, And the third life he is going to live. He was in critical condition, but he's going to feel that trauma for the rest of his life as well. She's a fourth person who's basically had her life taken from her in a big way when she made this decision to go and do that. They did create a GoFundMe, an online fundraiser that has been organized for the victims and the residents who witnessed the deadly shooting that unfolded at this Atlanta condo, which left 2 dead and 1 in hospital in critical condition. And they say that they're planning on putting the funds towards the funeral cost of our building manager, Michael Shinners, the medical bills of our building engineer, Mike Horn, and a small portion to do something for the staff here who had to witness this event and helped keep all the residents safe yesterday. The goal for the GoFundMe is set at $10,000. And as of this morning, it was almost $2,200. So if you are so inclined to help, I will leave that GoFundMe link in the description. The president of Beacon Management Services, Lisa Simmons, she described Raissa Kengne as a disgruntled resident of the building. Then they released some of the 911 calls. And before I dive deeper into these 911 calls, I'm not going to share all of the 911 calls. If you would like to hear all of the 911 calls, let me know in the comments and I'll just put together a video of just that, editing out all of the silence part, just so you can hear the important part. Just give me one comment below and I'll create that video for you guys. They released some of this and I've only grabbed a little piece here and there. I didn't want to grab everything because I'm just trying to update you and share with you a little of that. But I want to update you on this case.
It's just one person shooting at everybody she can shoot. Must have had a problem with the management office. I hid in the bathroom.
You can hear one person says it's just one person. She's shooting at everybody she can see. That's a very scary thought, visual, the whole 9 yards. He says she must have had a problem with the management office. And then you can hear someone in the background. She shot 2 people. She tried to shoot me. I hid in the bathroom. Oh my gosh. It looks like she was trying to take out more people from the way it sounds. That's a little of that 911 call. And some of the other things that were described in this recordings of 911 calls reveal how colleagues of Wesley Freeman attempted to save his life while waiting for medics to reach the scene. In one audio clip released by the Atlanta police just yesterday, a dispatcher can be heard coaching the caller through using a clean cloth to stop the bleeding. The caller is heard saying, "This just happened. We were inside the office having a meeting. We heard 3 loud shots and everyone was wondering what was going on." Mr. Freeman then stops breathing, leading the dispatcher to guide his colleagues through chest compressions, counting to mark the rhythm. And you can hear him say, "Come on, keep fighting, baby." Someone can be heard in the background. "Come on, buddy, come on, keep fighting, keep breathing. Get a breath in there. Come on now." Rest in peace, Wesley. Another clip from the same building records the caller whispering so they won't be heard telling the dispatcher that they're terrified and locked in their office.
Atlanta Allen Operator 7944, what is the address of the emergency?
1100 Peachtree.
All right,
office.
could you repeat that again, please?
1100 Peachtree.
1100 Peachtree, bear with me while I lock this in. All right, 1100 Peachtree, is that street northeast?
I believe so.
All right, and at this location, is it a house, apartment, or business?
Business.
All right, what's the name of the business, sir?
BDO.
That video, VIDEO. What's
BDO, 3 letters.
BDO. All right, yes, sir. At this location, do you need police, fire, or EMS?
Please.
All right.
Everybody, we may have an active shooter. I don't know. I heard 3 gunshots and someone screaming.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I don't know if that's verified. I'm locked in my office. I'm terrified.
Yes, sir. Bear with me, sir. Stay online with me, okay? I'm typing all this up for the officer, okay?
Please hurry.
That's so chilling. You hear him at the end, "Please hurry." And he says the 3 letters, BDO. At first she heard video, BDO. That's exactly where she used to work. And that's who she had a lot of these problems with, her former employer. Wow, that's so chilling to hear this. And it's like, people. Now again, I can have all of the 911 recording all on one video if you want to and hear that. Just let me know in the comments. But some of these 911 calls my gosh, you can hear the panic and the fear of the witnesses during this shooting spree. And you can hear when one of these callers, as I played at the very beginning, when they describe the shooter, you can hear in one call that came in from the luxury condo complex where the first attack happened, the woman, you can hear how scared and frantic as she tells the dispatcher that 2 people have been shot. And the woman describing the shooter, she says she lives here. And she says this towards the end of the call, and you can hear what appears to her to be hyperventilating. And as you heard, that caller in the same building tells the dispatcher that lady with a black striped top, a black lady, is currently in the management office shooting at people. He says he heard about 4 or 5 shots. And then they ask him, do you feel safe to keep talking? And he says, yeah, well, I'm scared to death. I'm hiding right this minute. It's just one person shooting at everybody she can see. She must have had a problem with the management office. Whew! An incident report was released by the Atlanta Police Department that sheds light on how the Atlanta shooting suspect was caught. And it says that officers raced to the condo complex at 1280 West Peachtree St only to find building manager Michael Schinner already dead from multiple gunshot wounds to his torso. It says Michael Horn was taken to the hospital in stable condition. While officers investigated, another team responded to reports of more gunfire at the 1100 Peachtree St skyscraper and found Wesley Freeman shot multiple times in a similar fashion. The report doesn't say how police determined the suspect's identity, only saying they did so quickly. That came from a lot of video footage along with these 911 calls that came in, because the Atlanta mayor, he does share how all these tips in the community actually helped capture this lady, making this really, really quick and it not being a drawn out process, letting her get wherever she was trying to go. But the cameras in the area help big time. Right around Colony Square, all those cameras help identify who it was that they were looking for. So the taxi driver, as I mentioned in the previous video, she did get a taxi ride to the airport. So the taxi driver who drove Raissa Kengne to Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, he says he had no idea that his passenger was a suspect at the time. Listen to his first interaction with her.
Okay. Actually, when I was going to pick her up, I saw all the police and the fire department, and I was able to pick up in front of all these people. So for me, at that point, I didn't know that she probably did something.
I had called every single driver that we had that was in the Atlanta area and asked them if they had a passenger in their car, if it was a female, you know. And then once I determined that I didn't.
So you hear that. At first, they had no clue. He picks her up. There's a bunch of people everywhere, but he's not thinking he has to worry about this. Nice, come across sweet voice. I won't hurt you type thing. The lady shares the dispatcher. She's like, she's calling everybody, right? All of her cabbies. Did you just pick someone up? Did you just pick someone up? After the dispatcher does call his taxi and explains the situation, the driver then asks Kengne, do you have a problem with anyone?
Do you have any problem with anyone? That's weird. Huh? Okay.
Wow, right? He says, do you have a problem with anyone? She replies, not that I know of. What's happening? Giles Patrick Mandio, the checker cab driver, he emigrated to the U.S. from Cameroon, and he told Fox 5 that he had driven past numerous emergency services vehicles to pick up this fare. And he says, I didn't have any idea. I've picked her up before. It's not some random person that I picked up for the first time. Mr. Mandio, he said that Miss Kengne had also originally come from Cameroon and that she initially asked him to take her to a park in Atlanta's Ansley Park neighborhood. He says that she got out, rang the doorbell, got no response, then got back in after some discussion, agreed to be taken to the airport. And as they were on their way, that's when he got his phone call from the dispatch center asking about Miss Kengne. And so then he asks her, do you have any problems with anyone? And not that I know of, no. What's happening? Mr. Monday says she then tells him, no, you're safe. Don't worry. You're safe. Like, you're not the one I'm looking for. And so these accusations of her lawsuit are a little hard to follow, but ultimately she's alleging that her former employer, BDO, retaliated against her for raising concerns about deficiencies in its audits. And so according to 11 Alive, her lawsuit says the company ignored her and eventually offered her a 12% salary raise, which she took that as a way as an attempt to buy her off. And after that, she alleges that BDO began conspiring with a wide range of other figures, including her condo building manager and her former lawyers, to retaliate against her. So in some ways, people think that she's putting all this stuff in her head. But truth is, we don't really know everyone's side to this. We don't know. The only thing that I do know is it should not have led to killing two and hurting a third person. That part I truly do believe. The other side of that is, if she was being honest, if she did find some discrepancies and they were trying to hide stuff and it never gets noticed, well, then take the high road out of there and be your true self. But then she wanted to go even further with lawsuits and all that stuff. I don't know. But it should not have led to killing two people and injuring a third. For example, she claimed that someone used a copy of her condo key to break into her home and steal evidence from her safe, leading her to suspect that Beacon Management Services, her building manager, was involved. And that's where she filed these lawsuits. She had all this stuff going that she believed all these people were in on it. And she said that she found a flash drive outside of her safe. And again, they did send law enforcement over there, but there was no report that they can see an actual burglary had occurred. And judging by those videos on her LinkedIn page, Atlanta police didn't seem to take her report seriously. And so the city's police department, they did tell 11 Alive that it had classified Ms. Kengne's case as a non-crime, as I mentioned. But her lawsuit was in trouble. According to her complaint, she attempted to engage a law firm, but they rejected it, after several months and many questions because they did not have enough evidence to pursue the case. She searched Georgia for other lawyers and even flew to Washington, D.C. to meet with others. Her tickets are included in her lawsuit as evidence, but again, to no avail. Instead, she represented herself and named her previous lawyers as defendants in this lawsuit. She did appear before a court on August 23rd, accused of assaulting 3 people with a firearm and killing 2 of them, and she was ordered to remain in detention. Atlanta broadcaster 11 Alive, they did a deep dive into Raissa Kengne's 407-page lawsuit, as well as other legal filings relating to her life. Although a judge did say on Tuesday that she does not qualify for a taxpayer-funded lawyer, she reportedly told a different court that she has less than $3,000 in savings and no income. The report says Ms. Kengne owns land, an abandoned house, and her condo in Midtown Atlanta, but that she had been fighting to prevent the house being foreclosed upon and to get electricity turned back on at the condo. The accounting company where shooting victim Wesley Freeman worked, they sent out a bulletin to employees mourning his loss. And according to a screenshot posted by an employee on the anonymous social network Fishbowl, the message, which was first spotted by the accounting news website Going Concern, it was signed by BDO USA Chief Executive Wayne Burson and HR boss Kathy Moy. And it read, as you may have seen in the news, there was an active shooter incident in Midtown Atlanta, which included our BDO office. We are heartbroken to share that one of our employees, Wesley Freeman, lost his life yesterday as a result of this incident. This is devastating and something we never could have imagined we would face as a firm. West, NIS Assurance Managing Director, was an incredible team member who brought exceptional passion, dedication, and integrity to his work over the past 16 years at BDO. He will be deeply missed. Her LinkedIn page has been flooded by online users speculating about her alleged role in the shooting and sometimes even voicing support for her. Underneath a video by Ms. Kengne about her dispute with her former employer and her building manager, which was posted about 3 days ago from the time of this video, there are now 300 comments from strangers all over. Some people take her claims of conspiracy against her seriously, suggesting dark forces at work behind the events in Atlanta and expressing support for her perspective. Others sympathize with her claims that Atlanta police did not give her dispute the right attention, even while they were mourning the deaths of people. Like they were in disbelief that something like this could happen. Others still argue that she was mentally ill, using words such as paranoid and delusional, while many more discussed her arrest with amazement and surprise. Now, obviously, she is innocent until proven guilty, even if there's so far a lot of evidence around her that points directly to her. But until she either says I'm guilty or she is deemed guilty in a court of law, right now she hasn't entered a plea yet. When she got in front of the judge, the judge read her rights and basically said, you're not going to really want to speak anymore. And he tried to answer the question as quick and short as he could. You know, she might have suffered some type of mental problems that caused this, and that would help her not be found guilty, I think. And so, my friends, that's the update around the Atlanta shooter who really was pushed to the edge. And I guess this was the only way that she believed that she can get back at them. I don't get it. Rest in peace, Wesley. Rest in peace, Michael. My friends, I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to serving you again. Peace.